Hello, thank you for joining me. For starters, I got a new light here. Please bear with me while I try to get this set up so that it works well for my videos. I'd like to talk about my PC-FX pickups that I've gotten recently. I showed off my PC-FX collection just a couple videos back, and I've been wanting to finish that up. I'm getting really close to the end. So I guess for starters, I have a very sad story, and I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that sad. But it was definitely a big blow to me when this happened. So let me just start off by saying I noticed that a shop that I've been shopping at got a PC-FX game in stock that they've been out of for a while. So very excited, I went ahead and picked that up, and while I was at it, I was like, you know, I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and pick up the priciest, rarest game on the PC-FX. So I went ahead and ordered this, got it in the mail, I was very excited. I get it home and I hear something's loose inside. I'm like, oh, that's not a good sign. But I went ahead and opened it up and like, let's see what the issue is. So I take out two games. One of them is this game here, Pachio-kun FX, very excited to have. And the other game is Kishin, Douji, Zenki FX. So of course the loose disc is this game. And I open it up, you know, I figure, you know, what's the worst thing that can happen with a loose disc? I figure how bad could this be? So I get this open, and if you can see it here, but there is a crack that goes right from the center of the disc here all the way into the middle of it. This is cracked completely through. It's a genuine crack. This disc is unplayable. It's gone from the world. This is a dead disc, and you know, everything else is fine. It's just broken. So I was understandably devastated, and I figured, hey, you know, this is it's insured. I should be able to get, if not the full value of the game back, at least a good portion of it. I'm thinking, well, my postmaster got me a form. It is this US form 1000 here, and I filled this out and sent it in. So a few days later, I get a letter back, which is right here from the, it's hard to see, but from the US Postal Service, and it says, Dear customer, this is in response to the claim you filed for an International Express Mail article. Our office is required to process all claims in accordance with the insurance provisions published in the International Mail Manual and approved by the United Postal Union. Based on our guidelines, we cannot process any inbound express mail claims. The sender should file with the country of origin. Considering the above, we have no alternative but to deny and close this inquiry or claim and return your correspondence and supporting documentation. So that's what they did. It does make a certain amount of sense. I mean, you do get insurance on something that you are sending. It would make sense that you would take that up with the originating service, but it just seems pretty silly to me for the United States Postal Service not to assist me any further in a claim with an international postal service for insurance on a pricey, you know, item that was damaged in shipping. In addition to that, I also have, you know, this original document that was filed, and you know, I kind of have to mention my postmaster is somebody who you know, I'm going to have to deal with on a regular basis, and I'm not really holding a grudge, but this really this disappointed me a little bit here. So we have you know, question 8, what appears to have been the cause of damage? Check all that apply. So, you know, there's like fragility of contents, leakage of contents, crushing, perishable items, shock, other, and inadequate packaging. Here's what they chose to do. So they checked off shock and put a question mark, and then they checked off other, and this is great. So they say, possibly damaged prior to mailing, question mark. DVD, which it's a CD, but whatever, has crack and is non-usable. Item was in case, but not secure and was bouncing around. No damage to case or packaging. And then they have additional comments. Okay, so you had to go out of your way. So they say, not sure if damage occurred during mailing or not. Question mark. DVD is cracked from center hole out, which suggests it could have been cracked when trying to, and you have to go to the other side, secure DVD into case for shipment, question mark. Hard to believe that DVD cracked in shipping when there is no other evidence to state such. Now, again, like I said, I'm not really holding a grudge here, but it really feels like this person was covering their butt, you know, and it sounds like they were being relatively skeptical. Now, just to put this into perspective, I've ordered hundreds of games over the past 2 years that have come through this post office to me. I've ordered other things from this particular seller that have all come through in excellent condition. I did say directly to this person that, you know, I've ordered things from these people before and they've been great. I also emailed them and they said that the item was not damaged when they shipped it to me. So, you know, I just feel like, you know, I know who my friends are now, you know. I mean, this guy really did not stick his neck out for me at all. Unfortunately, I do have a copy of Zenki FX now that does not work. Really, I've ordered so many games online. This was bound to happen. Something was bound to get damaged in shipping. It was just extremely bad luck that it happened to be the single most expensive game that I've ever purchased. What can you do? That's karma, I guess. So, let me just go over my other games that I've picked up recently, and I want to show off some gameplay footage here. So, we have this one here. If you say this in American English, we're talking Ruruli Ra Rura, which sounds like something that Scooby-Doo would say. But I guess if in more of a Japanese accent, it's Dududi da duda, which still sounds ridiculous, and I don't know what it means other than gibberish. It may mean something. Let's take a look. So, like most PC-FX games, this game does feature excellent full-motion video that you can see showcased here. And it has just a nice comical anime style, kind of like other series from this time that I can think of, like Slayers or Bakuretsu Hunters. It kind of reminds me of that sort of thing. And I haven't played a whole lot of this game, but I read some reviews from a Japanese player who was saying that it's definitely cutesy and kind of fun. They had some complaints about it. They were saying it's a little bit similar from the beginning to the end, and you are essentially going through the game collecting the characters that you see in the opening here. So you start off as the swordsman, and they have certain abilities. I guess they can get by certain areas in the boards, but as you unlock the other characters, you can actually switch out and play them. They have different abilities to let you do different stuff, so it sounds kind of fun. And here we are beating a boss, which was quite easy. So we can go and unlock our first character here. But they were praising the game for being just sort of fun and cute and entertaining throughout. So you know, this looks like a pretty cool game. I don't know about the platforming element, but the humor seems really cool. Next up is Choujin Heiki Zeroigar. So I'm happy to finally have this game. This, as you can see, has nice full motion video again. This is an alien girl who has defected from the alien side and come to Earth, and you use some alien technology to help build this weapon to fight against the aliens. So the guy's like, oh, it should have worked, and she's like, well, we're pushing the Earth parts to their limit, and he's like, oh, but there's one man who should be able to pilot this. So, obviously this guy here. So I believe his name is Go, and he's a Zero pilot. Zero being a significant plane during World War II. This game does seem to have some kind of sort of romanticized nostalgia for that time period, but you can also tell it's a bit. It just feels kind of. Well, it just feels very anime of the time, sort of parody, but it kind of reminds me of like giant robo with almost some of the visual aesthetics of like The Secret of Blue Water. Pretty interesting animation-wise, and gameplay-wise here you can see it's kind of a fast-paced shmup. Definitely not a bullet hell shooter. In fact, I mean, it's sort of an enemy hell, but it doesn't seem like the enemies are shooting anything. This seems completely that they're just flying the ships at you. So interesting little part here, we're kind of just powering up. So here's the boss. And you know, you can see this is kind of typical boss pattern stuff that you need to learn, but this doesn't look tremendously hard. I actually don't fare all that well on this battle, but I do almost get this this boss killed. But as far as shmups go, this seems really unique. I really like the animation and the story, and it just seems like a pretty fun game. I'm unfortunately not very good at shooters. We also have Anime Freak FX, Volume 6. This is the last in the series. So the Anime Freak games are really interesting. I mean, because they essentially aren't games, they're like digital magazines. So we have a lot of information in them. There'll be like an OAV episode, like interviews with creators and cast from various shows. There's going to be like sort of news and information and stuff like that. So this is a very kind of, not exactly pre-internet, but like extremely early internet. Definitely pre-streaming video. You're talking, you know, a time when just digital video was still pretty new. Like the VCD format, I think, had just been established a few years before this, and you know, this was a pretty unique thing. But I love this. So she's like, this is Kodomo no Omocha no Omocha, or Koro-cha-cha. Kodomo no Omocha was a you know, an anime at the time, and so it's like child's toy. So they're doing a segment on it called Child's Toys Toy. So these discs tended to feature little mini games on them, like this Jonkin game that you play here with a I believe she's a voice actress and probably you know, popular TV personality kind of person. And then, you know, here we have like an anime OAV episode on here. You know, this was probably pretty high tech at the time. You actually had the karaoke subtitles going on here. I mean, this was something that you didn't really start to see until people started fan subbing stuff online and really doing that. So, you know, in some ways I think this kind of thing was really ahead of its time. Here is Makeruna Makendo Z. Now, I have to admit that I didn't know a whole lot about this to start with, but this looks really awesome. I just really like this opening. You know, it's very much in that sort of cheesy kind of parody style of old robot shows and just anime from the 70s for the most part. But you know, it seems like it's played a little tongue-in-cheek, but it's kind of straight too. I mean, I think they're sort of serious about this. So it's just like somehow it just ended up being really unique looking, I think, in the style of the animation and the character designs and stuff, and it seems really top-notch and high quality. This actually was there was an RPG released on the Super Famicom for this, so this I guess is the second RPG in the series here. And you can see it's really played sort of traditional 16-bit style, or you know, going into 32-bit here RPG. Voice acting and everything. Obviously, it's the PC-FX, so they can do that. It's like, you're late. We're gonna be late for school. And so this just seems like a neat format, and you know, we're talking 16-bit style RPG, but you know, decent graphics, and you know, you get cutscenes all in the middle of it. You get this is just some images, but it's voice acted, and you get full motion video scenes. So it really, you know, this is really structured a lot like RPGs, I guess, are now, or you know, had been. You know, in the PlayStation Saturn era. Really cool looking RPG. As you've seen before, Pachio-kun FX. So here we have an island that apparently a whole bunch of magic users, I guess, are being sort of called to. They're holding a competition it appears for these magic users to compete, so it's kind of like Dead or Alive or something. Everybody's coming to this island to have a competition and see who's the best. But of course this is Pachio-kun, so we have this anthropomorphized pachinko ball. And here we can choose our character. I'm just going to pick the first one here, Yuya. It seems like she has a little golem possibly with her. I was like, hey, so you're Yuya, right? It's like, I'm Pachio. I'll be your supporter. She's like, okay. It's like, nice to meet you. This here is Ria. So basically you go around to these different areas, and it turns out that the competition is actually playing pachinko. So I guess your magic factors into it a little bit in terms of, I don't know, like some special abilities or how many pachinko balls you get or something like that. I'm not really sure, but it's basically pachinko. I mean, this seems like probably the most interesting version of pachinko you could possibly play, but I still find it a little bit like boring and baffling. But who knows? It might be kind of fun. And finally, the highly tragic Kishin Douji Zenki FX. So unlike something like Ruruli Ra Rura, Zenki appears to be based on a manga and anime series. So this is something that was actually ran in Shonen Jump. We're talking the same publication as Naruto and Bleach and Dragon Ball and that kind of thing. This ran for several years in that, and they made it into a relatively long anime series. It went for, I think, 52 episodes. And there were several games based on it. In fact, I think there might have been 5 games total. There were several on the Super Famicom, if I remember correctly, and there was, of course, this one on the PC-FX. And I don't quite know if the high price that this game commands is in relation to how many were produced or strictly the demand, but I have a feeling that it's the demand. And really, if you just take a look at this, it looks great. I mean, the animation at the beginning was nice, but just the amount of animation in the character sprites, and you get these little portraits and sort of full voice acting to play out these scenes. Really neat, and it's just it's fun pick up and play gameplay here. You can see this is classic beat 'em up style. And I actually got a chance to play this game with my friend. It is 2-player. Here I'm playing single player, but you can play with this other, the female character there on the side as well. So I played this the other day with one of my friends, and we had a ball. It was really neat. This character does have the ability to transform. And we can see here it's kind of like almost seems like Ultraman or something like that in that regard, and I'm sure that's something that comes directly from the animation itself. But just a really neat game. I mean, obviously the copy that I purchased is broken, so I'm playing this via alternative means, but this is clearly a very imaginative, very fun top-notch game on the PC-FX, and I think that anybody would want to have this in their PC-FX collection. But anyway, those are my PC-FX pickups. I hope that you've enjoyed this, and I hope that you'll join me again for some more Japanese video game related videos. Thank you very much for watching.